1. Boost ignition and liftoff. And all systems are go.
Welcome to the Lesbo and The Bean universe. Lesbo and The Bean. LaTB, LaTB, where mixed martial arts and the UFC get silly. Big silly. Buckle up and move your tray tables to their upright position. And please, somebody shut that baby up. It's time for Lesbo and The Bean.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Episode 127. Here we go. What a fun Tuesday night contender series. We're having our first break for a while. Until August 25th, we're not going to get our official UFC show, which is going to be a good one. Fight night, Gaethje Vick, but we have 3 weeks to catch up. We made it to the White House, baby. We made it. We made it. Big Dana, Uncle Dana, taking celebrity photos with Big Uncle Trump, Colby Covington, coming through with his word to all of the UFC American fans. How do you feel about that entire situation? And Dana getting a lot of heat initially because he dropped the picture first, which I think was a bad move by him. He should have let Colby do it first, then been like, oh yeah, I got one too.
Yeah, unless that's the kind of douche Dana is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, where he knows he's that kind of douche, where he's like, how do you think you got there? How does Colby think he got? I don't take the picture second. He is the same kind of guy that Trump is. And do you think Trump would take the picture, release the picture second?
It's a good call. I mean, it is Dana White, Zuffa, who have the connection to Trump. It's Dana White himself
Colby
because
said it was the greatest day of his life.
I don't care who it is. I don't care what president it is. If you're meeting the current president, that's going to be some sort of honor. That's got to make you feel a little bit good. It doesn't matter the president. It could have been any of the last 100.
Like, it has nothing to do with the president. It's more about you. Like, who you are. Like, you've made it. You're meeting, like, the most powerful man in the world.
Supposedly.
The leader of the free world.
I think it would just be an experience.
The free world.
Yes.
I have air quotes for the audio listeners. The leader of the free world, the most powerful man. Because we have listeners in other parts of the world.
Correct.
And I don't know, globally, I don't know if Trump is the most powerful man in the whole world.
I would definitely agree that he is more than likely not, because...
And I don't know if America's the freest place in the world, so leader of the whole free world seems like a big stretch to say.
I totally agree. We're living in more of a police state here in the United States, more and more every single day. The newest Alex Jones info here at LaTB Conspiracy, you're seeing it. Everything's being affirmed as far as I see it, with him being banned.
Do you think Colby's getting stripped just because he's a Trump fan?
Officially, Colby's saying...
But Dana's like, Colby's not stripped until the bell rings. The same as the Conor
That's
situation.
exactly what I heard.
Until the cage shuts and the first punch is thrown. And I say, why strip Colby? If they're fighting for the championship, Colby still can get the next fight, so he doesn't need to lose the next fight belt.
That's what he officially said in his big interview on Monday. Colby said, hey, I'm getting whoever wins that, so in my eyes, they're fighting for the interim belt, and I'm the current champ. Yeah, I took the belt to the president. And he had a tough time saying, Mr. Trump. I mean, how bad did he say it like 20 times in the interview? I love Colby, love to hate him. He's doing it. It's funny. It's comical. I love it. It's the flair we needed to MMA.
In the world we live in, and everyone's a character, and I'm going to say some names right now, and I'll piss people off, but there's a lot of other fighters that are characters in the UFC, even if they're caricatures of themselves. But Donald Cerrone.
I love Donald.
Mike Perry.
Yep.
In a way, when you look at John Jones, how come all the wrestlers kind of have the same personality? They might be from a different country, but same. I think Henry Cejudo is going to end up getting the same kind of booze Daniel Cormier got.
Really?
He's unlikable in the same way that Daniel Cormier is unlikable.
I do see that. Like,
I actually love Daniel Cormier now,
yes,
but when everyone was booing Daniel Cormier, it was because Daniel Cormier was playing this, like, like Henry Cejudo. And I know we're just bouncing around, but you know how our shows go when we're off the rails. We don't have any fights, so we'll try to talk about everything. But since we're on Henry Cejudo, did you watch any of TJ on Below the Belt with Brennan Schaub?
Nope.
I'm going to call that show The Big Brown Breakdown because there's so many Below the Belts, and I want to say that whole long title. Anyway, it was a really good interview, and he actually says he wants to fight Henry Cejudo next, but he'll only do it at 125.
TJ, from what Ludwig was saying, as well as TJ, he's like, TJ has to put on muscle and actually eat extra because he's a 125er. And he's made that 125 practice cut already, which is way more advanced than a lot of other guys. A lot of other guys are like, I think I can make it those last 3 pounds, where he's done the test cuts and made it.
I'm going to be a little off with the numbers, but I feel like the day before his last fight, he weighed in at 133 already. And he's like, I was already at 133. If I had to lose the 8 pounds, and that was the day before.
Yep.
He's like, I could have lost the 8 pounds. And he used to wrestle, so he understands a hard cut. And he's like, I easily can make 125. That's what everybody's not understanding. Why do I want to risk anything? And he was kind of laughing about how being the champ, like now that's just what you have to do.
It is a truth. That is.
Like
that's a standard where you're in now. Yep.
So he thinks Henry Cejudo's easy money, in his opinion. He thinks Henry Cejudo's a walkthrough. And he'll go down there, take that belt too, come back up. He says he feels like he has to fight Moraes and Dominic Cruz, because Dominic Cruz hasn't done shit for 2 years and he had to work his ass off to get where he is. So how about why he's going to fight Henry Cejudo at 125, he fights Marlon Moraes and he'll fight the winner of them.
Not a bad
It's
call.
like, I've done all the work. I've had to go through Cody twice.
Yep.
He's like, he had the same opening there that he had last time. I envisioned what I was going to do.
And pound for pound, you look at TJ's record, and it is formidable. He has fought nothing but the best ever since he got in.
The best line TJ said, in my opinion, that is the argument for him being the best 135er ever. He has more knockouts in the UFC than Dominic Cruz has finishes. Than Dominic Cruz has wins.
Right.
He has more knockouts in the UFC than Dominic Cruz has wins in the UFC. So.
Okay. By those standards, that makes sense.
Because the WE.
Yeah, EC and record overall. And I'm thinking, what? He's got. No, yes. So, in that phrasing, I love all of these stats that all of a sudden, out of nowhere, come in. It's like, I'm the #1 most punching first-round fighter of all time. And I'm like, damn, I didn't even know there was a fucking category for that.
No one wears green more than me, baby!
Yeah, exactly.
No one wears green more than me!
Shit. They're coming out with nuts shit sometimes.
I'm the fastest blinker around!
No. That is the truth. But do you
who's
think,
growing hair? I'm growing hair.
with DJ saying that about Cejudo, do you think it's because we now heard DJ got the MRIs and he's saying good news, it's not broken, but if you saw the amount of swollen that young man's foot was, something was wrong with DJ's
But Andy
foot.
has to still get his LCL looked at. His
True.
LCL, that's today.
True. But his foot isn't officially broken, but that was two devastating fundamental movement factors for DJ, who is a very movement-based fighter. He definitely gets in and out of there. And is it for TJ? I would think so. I'd say Cejudo's way easier than a DJ fight, just because of the proven factor.
I like somebody posted, TJ's going to lose his next fight. He loses the 5th fight.
I did see that. I saw those standards.
I liked it.
Ooh, interesting. So
I like TJ. He's I believe he beats Dominic Cruz at his prime. Right now, TJ's at his prime, maybe even getting better and better still.
Mm-hmm.
I think he beats the best Dom, and Dom was the best bantamweight in my opinion. And it's not because he beat Cody. It's just how how decisively TJ went in, saw what Cody did, and implemented the game plan to do it better.
Totally.
It's I don't know.
As we said it, though, and TJ confirmed it, I mean, everybody saw it was that right hand I feel like we called it like, oh, he could land that again, maybe not, but in our recap of it, and then TJ came out and was like, we practiced the same thing because we saw he didn't make the adjustments, so the same punch worked. Exactly the same thing. Kick set it up, but what a fun breakdown. I've seen a lot of other people re-breaking down. That's how high of a level that fight night was. Really shined through. But the other things that came up over the weekend was the press conference with Vick and Gaethje. Did we break down this press conference officially?
I don't think we did talk about this.
I don't think we talked much about it, but
we have not officially really gotten to anything about it because we knew we were going to have off time. So
That's
all
a
we
good
did
point.
was recap the fights.
That's a good
We might
point.
have flipped it, but we didn't really get down with it.
there's some fun shit talking. As we're saying, everybody's a caricature of themselves, and Gaethje is in that boat for me. He's a high-paced, high-violent fighter who takes a lot of strikes, and when he talks, I don't like what I see.
I almost wanted to say Gaethje when I was talking.
That's the
He
truth.
seems like the punchy fighter.
And James Vick called it out himself. He's like, dude.
Seems like that.
And James Vick's saying all the
Makes
right
me
things
sad.
by saying, yeah, dude, I'm not going to brawl with you because it doesn't make sense. You're punchy and you're younger than me and had less fights. I'm going to beat your ass, but I'm not going to brawl with you. And it's the only way you give Justin Gaethje an option is brawling. That's what you have to do
And
is
it's just
get in there
too
with
many
him.
battles too soon. 6 months ago or 8 months ago, him and Eddie in a war. 2 months ago, 3 months ago, him and Poirier in a war. Those are two of the top 6, maybe like 155ers of two of the top 10 155ers maybe of all time.
I mean, Dustin Poirier,
That's
look at his
insane.
record, is unreal.
And Eddie
Looking at it,
Alvarez
and
coming
Eddie,
up
it's
out
true.
of the Bellator,
It's
and
true.
then I just, whew.
Fun times to be alive in the
Justin
MMA
Gaethje.
world.
Justin Gaethje. And we have not discussed Conor Khabib.
Oh, how the ripen is a pickin'. Anything we can go into. We already have Lobov talking. We have coaches talking. Who was the guy who got charged with him? He was all over the Hawani show. Freaking. We got so much juicy tidbits.
Well,
Conor McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. Khabib is now instilling training
October
habits
6th
in Vegas.
Vegas. Do you think that's odd? Let's start there.
No. One of the biggest fights of all time. People are quoting that it might make upwards of 2 million buys, with Diaz Conor being number one all time at 1.7. So there's people are thinking it might be over 2. Why would you take that anywhere but Vegas where you can charge $1,000 for nosebleed sections? Because that's what's going to happen. $1,000 to get in the door.
You don't think that they could do that in Madison Square Garden? I feel like Madison Square Garden might be their biggest cards of all time. That's usually where Conor prefers to go.
But with New York and all of his whatever...
That's what I'm wondering.
You
Do you
know?
think there's a Latin conspiracy?
John Jones did it already. He said, I will never fight in New York again.
Do you think fighters are starting to realize it's a little sketchy of a commission, like the mafia still runs New York?
I would hope so, because a lot of them realize, like John Jones, the reason he decided not to fight in New York again is because fighters themselves get taxed like an extra 20% for making money in New York state lines. Fuck that noise. You can fight anywhere else, and they might even
Especially
give
if
you
you're
more
making
money.
something like $25 million to fight. How much do you think Conor's making to fight? Do you think he's getting his buy of the UFC? Do you think he's getting his piece?
I don't know. That's an interesting point. What's the payouts going to be? How much does he get, and then how much does he get residually on all the other sides? Like, not just
He
the
never fights
win
on an
or
old
win.
contract, one. And is Khabib, how much is Khabib making for this?
I don't know how Khabib's doing, because he loves tiramisu, and now he's spending all his money training bumps. Did you happen to see any of that footage that's been outraging people? He's getting workouts with bums in San Francisco or some shit. New York. He's laughing at him.
Are there not homeless people in Russia?
No, I'm pretty sure there are. But people are saying that they're not even bums, that they are drug addicts, because it's a drug shelter he was near right there. And guys kept asking him for money, and he was like, all right, give me some push-ups. Which, maybe you just don't laugh at him. But he is giving him money. He's just, what's the easiest thing? Here's $10. Give me 10 push-ups. Any day, people. Hit that Patreon up on LaTB if you want to see me do some push-ups, because A $1 push-up, easy money.
I don't think whatever you want to do, 10 push-ups, give money to homeless people, make homeless people do athletic exercises for money. I mean,
It's
you're
a
in
job.
America.
It's a
so
job.
I don't know if it might be an issue for tax labor or something, or if you're allowed to employ somebody out of I don't know what kind of thing, but filming it is the douchebaggery. Putting it online for clicks for other people to see, whatever. You're already a douchebag, and then you're taking it to a new level, but so is the world we live in.
And it wasn't Khabib filming, it was his buddies through the window.
I didn't know
Glass.
Khabib. I thought Khabib was filming, and somebody else was doing
The videos that I saw, it was people through the glass laughing, and Khabib was obviously definitely laughing too. Like, come on, man, like real push-ups, because the dude was cheating. He was doing his on his knees push-ups. They ain't real push-ups. They're his standards.
I don't know.
I
don't know. It's iffy. It's one. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it.
Well, people are outraged. The
Yeah.
MMA community's outraged, and I'm like, really? I don't think it was. I wouldn't do
Is it like bum fights?
No, because people are fighting and actually breaking their arms and getting bloody noses, and like bum fights was brutal. That stuff. Oh, I watched it. Oh, I had every video.
The only thing, if I were really going to argue it and play devil's advocate with like a philosophy lawyer head, I would say, do religious people that come and like speak gospel, if they give anything to homeless people and they're like, here, my brother, here's money, they're like, listen to me, he reads this scripture. Some people think exercise is like gospel.
Jack LaLanne does.
Like a lot of people do. I don't know how I feel about it. I think it's kind of gross.
I do think it's kind of gross, and
It's grosser than throwing a dolly through a bus window.
is it really?
Yeah.
I mean, they are marketing that in the video. Connor's crime is
Breaking
being
glass
posted.
and shattering it onto people, that's a mistake. That's a mistake.
Did you see the tweets of people saying, "Oh, Connor throwing a dolly through a window and cutting a bum all up, and he's Mike Chiesa bleeding"? They're like, "What about if you cut a bum with glass and they show Mike Chiesa bleeding everywhere?"
That is kind of.
It was pretty funny.
Well, it's like that. The broken glass part, I think, was an accident.
Yeah.
I do believe shattering it onto people was totally an accident. But throwing something at a car or making a homeless person do activities for money, I don't know. They both suck.
But what it makes for more headlines, it gets for more talking pieces. I don't know if Khabib's actually come out and said something since that.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know enough about the political structure of Russia right now to make a statement about what's going on in Dagestan for Khabib. But it just seems crazy. I would not be filming myself doing anything. But that's why I'm saying maybe homeless is so rare in his country that it's like, look, this guy lay on ground and ask for money.
Or I don't know. I mean, they have a homeless population in Russia. I feel like I've seen Vice once, but they tend to be a little leaning towards a certain
Vice's
narrative.
propaganda.
Yeah, itself. But I could see it in Russia them being like, "This is state money. You think I got this for free? You know how many push-ups I had to do?"
That's what I
So he's
mean.
like, "Hey, dude, you got to give me at least 10."
Yeah.
So we're on the same.
I don't. Yeah. His head might be about it differently.
Yeah.
I do think racism's different in other countries
Totally.
than it is here. So when people try to put sometimes racist stuff on Conor, I don't think it necessarily. Not that Irish people can't be racist, but I do think racial terms sometimes in another country compared to here are totally different terms. Sometimes the way, like, sexual terms of saying the word fag is so different in America than
Right.
if you say it in Europe.
Yeah, you get a cigarette in Europe.
Yeah, but some people even mean it in the same way. Like, what up? They're like, don't, you want to go get a drink, you fag? Like, and it just doesn't have this heavy,
Weight
heavy
to
of
it.
a vibe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I just think so. I don't know. I don't know. It's a crazy world. What
there's
else is
more
going
to
on?
come. We got like 8 weeks left, so there's a lot more to come.
What's the quick of it for you? Conor or Khabib?
Again, from last time, I'm staying on Khabib, and Khabib opened up as almost a 2-1 favorite, staying about those lines as of now. Conor, the underdog, also challenging for the belt, because Khabib technically has the belt right now.
And he's I don't know. It's a scary fight for Conor, or is it not at all? Because did Scoggins beat Khabib?
They've never fought.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of people are saying, and I feel like as well, this line is going to really shrink up to like minus 115 due to fight day, or a lot of that money's going to come in on Conor closer to fight day. So if you're thinking of going on Khabib, the sooner the better, because this line's going to tighten. It's not going to get further apart. I guarantee it.
Yeah, just because the more people start to talk about it and really look up history, the people Conor's beat are definitely more threatening than the people Khabib's have
Definitely.
beaten. I don't know, it's so interesting. It is
So
so interesting. Khabib isn't a finisher. Conor can survive a takedown with Khabib. You know how I know it? Everybody else does. Everybody else does. And a lot of the times he misses weight and still fights. There's a lot of fights that he missed weight by and still he just lost purse. So he already, part of the battle was lost. So I think the bet still is that he doesn't make it there. And my question is, if he doesn't make it there, you know who the standby is?
Tony Ferguson.
That is who I think too.
Oh, that knee though. That's one of the gnarliest scars.
If I'm Conor McGregor though, I don't want to fight Tony Ferguson without the training for Tony Ferguson.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
That's such a different fight.
I agree with that. It's such a different fight.
Dylan Dennis says that Conor McGregor's better than Khabib on the ground.
I heard that too. And Dylan Dennis has one professional fight against somebody in Bellator with a losing record. So get yourself out of here.
Okay, I have a question for you. I'm
Yes.
training you. You're the Conor McGregor. Am I smarter to train you for Khabib first, knowing that you're going to fight GSP? Or would I train you for GSP first, knowing that if you can beat GSP, you can beat... Like, who do you think's better, Khabib or GSP? Because I think it's a smart route to go GSP first, or Khabib first, if I'm Conor.
Because we have GSP waiting in the wings is now the topic we're bringing in. Because GSP has officially said, hey, I'll take the winner of that fight at 155 pounds, which GSP has never done.
Yeah.
So, I think that the easier fight, honestly, is GSP there. I think Khabib's wrestling. I've just...
So maybe I'm totally wrong with the GSP, then maybe he would fight Khabib. He did say one of those fights is for legacy and one's for money.
Well, Conor for money, for sure. Everybody knows that.
Then I feel like if Conor beats Khabib, does it really put him in talks for PVP or PFP?
Yeah, because people can get losses and still come back, but Conor, as of late, has really started to get that top caliber. I mean, top caliber fighters is the people he's been putting out. Only lost in the UFC to Diaz, which they're 1-1, so that trilogy eventually will come down the pipeline.
And it was on an 8-day notice, or short notice?
Yes, short notice the first time.
Yeah.
So,
short notice the first time, and was it at a catchweight the first time?
I think so, and I think still at the second time, but other fights that actually were officially signed.
And everybody said if they actually had to cut, it would have favored Conor.
Yes.
So at 155, which is what they always said they were going to fight at again.
Right.
So with that, Nate Diaz
has a fight with... I forgot who...
Dustin Poirier.
Poirier. That's a dangerous-ass fight. That's a sneaky-ass fight. I love it. The 155-pound division is so stacked with top-level fighters. I'm leaning Poirier heavy.
Everyone's like, what? Nate gets to just walk in and fight Dustin, and poor Dustin, and Dustin, and Dustin wants this fight, everyone.
Yeah.
Nate is a money fight.
Yeah.
If you really are a fan of Dustin, let him get a big, huge fight under his belt. Let him get all the eyes under his belt. Let him do this. Like, this is great for Dustin Poirier. And Dustin Poirier is a big enough name for all intents and purposes for Nate. He has to get out of bed.
Totally.
So, I think this is a great fight.
It is.
This is on the 6th of
October? No.
November. November. This one is in Madison Square Gardens on the 6th of November. One of them's on the 6th and one of them's on the 3rd of October and one's November. It's weird. Because of 229 going on the weekend before it. So at the press conference, Nate was pissed that the Khabib versus Conor fight was announced after it stole his thunder a little bit, and he had to go and do what Diaz do.
Right.
And show his ass a little bit afterward and be like, I ain't fighting in that fight, fuck it. Which led to everyone always has to pair it.
Of course.
Nate Diaz, where I ain't surprised, motherfuckers. Like, everybody all has to do it, which did lead to a big, huge thing that everybody did had to mimic and follow, which in a weird way, that is the thing that everyone talked about longer over the Conor Khabib. Because people have been talking about Conor Khabib for so long that it's like, whatever, we all knew that was going to happen eventually.
Right. You are right, and it is going to be UFC 230 November 3rd is when Diaz Poirier headline that pay-per-view. And
so October 6th is the Las Vegas card. Or I don't know.
October 6th is McGregor.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's going to be, a month before. But we're shaking it up. Again, loving the times. There's going to be a lot of high-level MMA going on, though, in this little break that we're about to have for a couple weeks.
Cowboy Perry.
Well, no, that's not in between, because I'm talking about these 3 weeks.
Oh, these 3 weeks? And we don't even have Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender.
That finished last night, which we saw Greg Hardy get a decisive finish over the big Mama Jamma. I don't even remember his name, but it was 13 seconds. It was body, head, over, night.
His second finish in like the last couple of weeks, right?
Yeah. And I thought he had an ACL injury from his indoor football, so I didn't even think he was even going to get in there. But Hardy's saying he has a contract, doesn't matter, whatever. And Dana White's being like, Greg Hardy's coach called and said, that's the toughest guy we've ever had on our team. And from a coach that was, I don't know what the hell football coach, but yeah. Some football coach said toughest man. And
the fights were good.
Yeah, it was good.
I enjoyed the Tuesday night. I wouldn't mind if they spread out fights like that really in general. I'd watch fights 3 nights a week that only lasted an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Oh, I loved it. I thought we were in a time warp. I only remember seeing 3 fights really, but 4.
They were so fast.
They were so fast. Hour and a half. That's the way I hope ESPN, which is openly talked about how they're not going to do 6-hour cards anymore. It's too long.
Good. Squeeze them together.
Agreed. There's more ways to advertise without putting in these commercials.
If it runs long, if everything ends up being a decision, you know how you book for it, everyone? The same way you do when a basketball game runs into overtime, or when a baseball game goes past 9 innings, or when a soccer game goes into OT. It's all the same. You make the time for it if you need it. Like the Oscars. They usually allot for, 5 hours, and then they have some rerun TV that's going to come on after it or whatever.
Totally. Any other news in the MMA UFC verse?
Fights. When's John Jones coming back?
He's still got issues clearing up. Oh, getting away from John Jones, Montano Shevchenko line already popped as well.
Oh, what's that?
Minus 700 for Shevchenko, plus 550 for the current champ. This is one of the biggest lines ever as far as champs coming in against the defender and being the underdog. Think of that. It is pretty much the public has seen Shevchenko's the rightful champ. Here at LaTB, you know how we feel. And we got to start getting ready for that. Because we got change coming.
About right.
We got change coming here at LaTB.
on that, I believe it's that card, I could be wrong, but it's precedented for the first time ever, 3 lady fights on the pay-per-view. It's like Valentina versus that, and then my other girl, who might be my up-and-comer, Tatiana Suarez versus, it's a good fight, I can't remember though.
The other fight that headlines that is actually going to be Till Woodley.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the main one. That's fun fights. Fun fights. Loving all of these future fights we have coming down the pipeline. Have a heavy summer on the way.
Till looked enormous to Woodley.
Till hasn't made 170 pounds in 2 fights.
Yeah, good point. It's really weird. They're really pushing him. But that's something else TJ said on Below the Belt that was really funny is, damn, the UFC was so sad because they were pushing for Cody. They've been priming for Cody for years. They really wanted the good-looking kid.
True.
They wanted him to win, and TJ could tell. And so I think I like TJ Dillashaw. How can you not like TJ Dillashaw's work ethic? In my opinion, it's inspiring. It's inspiring the same way I found Dominic Cruz inspiring. I think he's, you have to have that kind of head.
It's lonely at the top.
Yeah, I think it's inspiring. I like all those guys. I like all the champions. I'm a fan of every champ. Who's your least favorite champion?
Ooh. I mean, Nico Montano, obviously. She hasn't defended, won it off of a show that was
Agree.
super. Yeah, she just is the one. Which odds indicate as well. She's probably the most disliked champion. Former champion of all time, one of them, or as in recent memory, GDR, the Iron Lady, Jiren de Mandame.
Well, yeah, at least Montana's defending against the
Trying to
cyborg
defend.
of her division.
So GDR has officially said, hey, I'm talking about coming back to the UFC. I've been a cop for long enough in Holland. So she's talking about coming back, but she's one of those that we know for a fact is willing to book and run. And I'm not saying she's scared because she's fought men in there and won. But I don't mean no likey. I don't like the entire GDR. You burn me once, you can't burn me twice.
Yeah, I don't know. She hasn't. I just have to watch more fights of hers because there's a lot of fighters that I wasn't fans of.
She beat Holly Holm by punching her off the belt twice.
I have to watch her.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't like that at all.
Exactly.
Yoel Romero is such a cheat. DC's a cheat. Eddie Alvarez is a cheat. And I like all those guys. So GDR, whatever, just because it's Holly Holm. Like, I would punch her after the bell. But I'm a fan of Holly Holm now because of her last fight. Then I was just going to bring her up as an example of somebody that it's like, I can hate someone and then all of a sudden I'm like, what, girl? At your age, you fucking changed your entire game plan up to take down somebody who kind of had your same game plan and there was a chance because they had an struck you in reach that you could get caught. I love everything you did. I respect the shit out of you for that.
Agreed.
And it made me a fan of Holly Holm now. But yeah, I don't know. I can always change for anyone. So I don't know what GDR could do that she comes out. Maybe she goes up to Cyborg and knocks her out. I don't know.
We'll have to see. That would be a fun one.
Is Cyborg Noons on the books?
Nope, that is officially not signed, and it's because Cyborg wants to fight like today. 2 days. She's ready to fight now, and Noons wants to hold her out to like December, January, and I agree with Cyborg. She's 32, 34, 30, whatever years old. She needs to be fighting right now.
Well, there's the reason I ask is because everyone is like, what is the main event of New York going to be? What's the main event of Madison Square Garden going to be? What's it going to be? What's bigger than Nate Diaz in the UFC? Is it DC Brock?
Yes.
Is it
DC Brock is
it
pretty
John
heavy.
Jones? Is it what? Haven't they announced?
I think John Jones says he ain't fighting in New York.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting because John Jones is from New York.
I know, but he's even like it sucks. But I'm not fighting there again, guys. You guys fucking tax the shit out of me. So I remember that interview where he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna make money somewhere else where they'll pay me to come fight there."
But
okay.
I know, why wouldn't they have? It has to be something that they think is bigger than Conor Khabib to release at Conor Khabib, in my opinion. Like as the final nail in the coffin of. Do you think
it's Gourmet Brock?
They're so silly. Everyone knows that's already happening. They already did everything. They have to make it bigger than that. They have to make it sneakier, in my opinion.
Which they got me. I mean, they got me when they fucking announced McGregor. Even though when I look back at Twitter, people were saying it the night before, but I stayed off of it. I was just like, I'm just gonna watch.
They didn't get me. I just already knew it was happening. I already knew they were meeting up to sign. You'd seen Conor around in the same places as Dana was again. I just knew something was up. Like, something's up. But I just thought this was in the works since they shoved the title down our throat that Khabib take it. Like, to set up the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
And I even would be willing to bet, like, LaTB conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
The powers that be, the, like, next level powers that be at the UFC, they knew Conor was going to make a scene at that whole thing. They knew all that was going to go down, and maybe Conor was late and everything, and he didn't mean to shatter the glass, but I would say people at the UFC were privy to that going down.
Wow, that's a deep one.
There seems to be some new camera angles that we didn't see. We haven't seen yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen them yet.
Some nice, clear, redigitized footage. It's in the
commercial.
They cut it into the commercial.
It's in the commercial. The most horrible act ever in UFC history as of 2 months ago, and now it's in the commercial.
Yeah, it's the way they're gonna sell the fight for him. Like, he's the bad guy. Like,
the bad guy.
Yeah, the Irish guy versus the Russian. I don't know. It didn't quite play out how they wanted, because I think he would have, if El Kakui won, I don't think Conor fought Tony. I think he fought Nate.
Wow. Love that as well. I can see that. Yeah, I can see that too.
And that's why I think Conor thinks he can beat Khabib. What does he see? Like that same opening when Khabib comes down?
He's confident. Everybody says it's the confidence. Conor has a confidence that he makes things happen. The same as The Secret and all that. Like, he can see it coming, and that's why it happens. So,
you don't think he is faster than Khabib? Faster hands, better boxing, faster head.
Definitely a better striker by far.
Defense. But
Chad Mendes took you down on 2 weeks' notice with no training camp.
But he wasn't training for a wrestler when he was going into it.
But Chad Mendes is what I would even say would give up takedowns to Khabib. It's a different style of takedown, but it's still
Who's the best wrestler that Khabib's fought?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I mean, Alain Quinto was never a bad wrestler. He was D1. There's a couple other guys, but so many of his fights fell out, and then it's short notice replacements. Yeah. Darren Horcher, I think, had D1 experience as well, but that's a no one. Michael Johnson was a good wrestler. Yeah, I couldn't think of anybody else off the top of my head.
What about the people saying that Michael Johnson rocked him with the same left-hand southpaw stance?
I have been seeing that, and that is an open avenue. If we see it, he sees it. And what I love is that this inner MMA world that we look up at, we know that he's watching BJJ Scott as much as we are, and people like that are saying, Conor can land this shot, and Conor's like, ding, ding, ding. Like, okay, I'm going to do it, because it's hive mentality. It's all these brains working together to be like, ooh.
What about if I did a video of all Khabib takedowns, because they're all kind of the same exact takedown. All Khabib takedowns. Okay. And it'd be like the plus for him, because that takedown is his friggin', that's his bread and butter.
Yep.
And then take those same footage and put it over here with circles around that opening for that same takedown that he does every single time. So it's also his minus.
Yeah, of course.
So it's just timing that takedown.
Yep.
It's insane.
It is insane. Love it.
I'm just excited Conor's going to fight, and I said it before and I'll say it again. He could be fighting anyone, and it would be the highest selling UFC fight of all time.
Anything left for this one?
We talked about John Jones.
John Jones!
Vick. You got Vick over Gaethje?
Easy. You know, I've been high on Vick for a long time.
I know. Is he the underdog right now?
No.
No? Huh.
I don't know what the odds are, but he is not the underdog right now.
Shevchenko. I'm trying to think of anybody else on that dais. Who Diaz or Cowboy Perry?
I love what Perry said in that, where he was like, people say Cowboy Cerrone fights better when he's friendly with his guys. I want to bring the best in him. He's going to be my buddy. And Cerrone was like, hell yeah, buddy. With that big old dip in. And love it. I love the mentality of it. I'm going to end up going with, when is that fight? That's the time frame, because it's the last KO for Cerrone. I got to see what the time frame is.
I might go with Cowboy on that. I might fall back onto the cow. I think Mike Perry, if the guy's going to get... Okay, here's what I would say, my quick of it. Mike Perry, from the Orlando Mike Perry that we saw, he was open for that head kick all day. Mike Perry coming out of Jackson Wink, might be all on Mike Perry. I'm loving Mike Perry out of Jackson Wink.
Interesting, because you tend to be. I was about to say you're such a hater on the Jackson Wink.
But everything that Mike Perry needed was that patience and to stay on the outside a little bit. Yep. Is exactly what they do. There's just nothing but patience and staying on the outside.
Yep, stick to a game
plan. So I do feel like, for most fighters, I want Holly Holmes to change camps and just see. But then she came out and did all this ground game where I'm like, okay, Jackson Wink, I might be a new fan. And John Jones, you can't hate on anything he does. We just never see it last long enough and for me to judge him. But other big fighters that they have. And isn't Cowboy a Jackson Winker sometimes?
Yeah. He splits time there between him and his BMF ranch all the time. Has for years. For that elevation specifically as well. I'm leaning towards Cerrone a little bit more again when that gets closer. But right now, I also think he has a bigger toolbox by far. But they're both Jackson. So Cerrone's staying at BMF ranch. He ain't going to go to Winkle, John, if Perry's going to be there.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Right?
I can't imagine that he is.
Unless Perry left. So we got to do our research, but I'm leaning, slight lean, Cerrone right now.
Did you see Till working out with Mike Perry?
I saw that. I like it. I like it a lot.
Do you think Till's saying the word? Because everyone's getting after him because he was saying, well, they cut it up so he was like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about my kids in Brazil. I have a kid and a girl in Brazil. I don't give a fuck. I have a girl a pregnant girl in London. I don't give a fuck about that. But what do you, when I'm training and in the middle of training, I don't give a fuck. I don't give about anything else. I am just focused on training. And everyone's like, what a dirtbag this guy is. He's a dirtbag. But my thing is if he's taking care of that kid in Brazil and the girl and taking care of the pregnant girl in London, shut up first. Make sure you take care of your own kids before you start bagging him because they took him out of context. And not that it's great to say you don't give a fuck about your kids during training, but I think he's just talking like a young, dumb guy.
Young, dumb guy?
Yeah.
Is that racist?
What was that? Who was that?
I don't know where.
Was that Michelle Watterson?
It was her mom.
Oh, shit. You know what? I was reading a thing online, and they were like, who is a fighter that you can come out of the closet and say that, I'm sorry, everyone, I can't stand this fighter that everybody else loves? Mine's Michelle Watterson. I just am not buying her act.
She seems like a really nice lady. Who would I say is the person that everybody genuinely likes and
just go out with some hate. I'm gonna go out with some hate mail. Lesbo and The Bean at gmail.com.
I want to say Chris Weidman. I don't know why. I like him. I like his style. I've made money on and against him multiple times, and I don't know why. I just see there's something about him where I'm like, you're a nice guy, I like you, but I don't want to hang out with you, buddy. Man, I don't know him. I'm just saying. I don't even know him.
Could you go a second person?
I don't know.
You just said Chris Weidman, and I'm like, Wonder Boy.
His brother-in-law. Of course. Of course.
That's horrible. But anyway, some guys, they say shitty things, like Perry when he said the thing about the N-word online, or Till about the kids and stuff. But I would want to hang out with both of them.
Yeah, I agree.
Funny.
They seem funny. Exactly.
Funny and goofy. let's go get a pint at the pub.
Like, okay.
Stupid guys
Yep.
that you would be like, oh, this guy'd crack me up for fights. Like if you had to sit next to a fighter, some fighters seem like they'd be like, that's a whole different question though, I guess. Because I don't dislike some fighters, but would I want to sit next to them and watch the fights for 6 hours?
Really quick, people sitting next to each other, the hot gossip. This will be the last little bit.
Okay.
How do you feel about T-City laying down some pipe over that Gaethje? What's up?
It's a perfect way to go out.
You
It's a
see?
perfect way
You
to
hear
go
about
out.
that? Them
Yes.
dreamy ass eyes. I was like, damn.
Well, she
T-City.
started with him. She started with like pretty much like.
Did she get breast implants too? Did I miss it? Because all of a sudden I'm like, damn, Gaethje looks titty.
No, girls in the right push-up, you can make stuff happen, and she has enough meat on her bones when she's not cutting
hell
that
yeah,
she
she
could
does.
make stuff happen.
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
I think hers are just push-up. They're definitely not PVCs, but she started flirting with him first online. Like, you got good genes.
Hell yeah,
You got
do.
them blue eyes, blah, blah, blah. And she wanted to meet up with him. And then you saw them both
Sit next to each other for hours at
sit
fight
next to
night.
each other.
Woo!
And you could tell he was excited about it because he got up and had to LA. LA, he had to show out with his old tight hair and his jacket. So then later online, you guys can look all this stuff up on their Instagrams. Later online, she put a picture of herself, and she looks like she's standing in an elevator, maybe, with like a tight dress on. From if you look at the Instagram, she's wearing the same dress the night before when she's standing with T-City, and now it's the next day. And T-City puts underneath it, you look tired.
Ooh, girl. You been getting triangled all night, girl.
Maybe he has.
Oh, boom.
But I know, and then I'm like, oh no, Claude, because she said something like, you got good genes, like, you know, she did.
I
She
saw
meant,
that.
let's make a little MMA baby. Let's make an MMA baby.
And then, baby,
Yeah.
I wanted to actually put out a little hogwatch on that photo, but it wasn't enough. There wasn't enough definition to really put it out there.
I saw it too.
Yeah, right.
I know exactly what you're
I
talking
wanted
about.
to, but there wasn't enough to really give it a good breakdown.
Almost.
It wasn't
I
on the
almost
Ganu.
saw, in my opinion, I almost saw a full head. It would just
It
have
was
to,
an illusion.
It would be a step down from just a hog watch. Whatever a
Just
step
barely.
down from
Yeah,
hog watch.
exactly.
You know,
Piggly
like, 'cause
watch.
even when you're harsh on Conor, it's still a hog watch.
Yeah.
It's still a hog watch, but maybe, yeah, there would have to be like one.
So maybe we
But
can ask
He
Gaethje
looked
to
like he
suffer
was
some of the
wearing some
photos.
linen pants with no underwear for show.
It was
For
close.
show.
It was
Or
close.
he had on like just white, brand new white underwear with white pants. I felt, yeah, it was close. I know exactly what you're talking about. But Gaethje,
You know, I've been all about that Gaethje for a bit.
I'm surprised because I really thought I have a pretty good gaydar, and I thought she was Gaethje. So good for you, girl. But I also could say Brian Ortega could swing a girl. He is good.
He's a handsome guy.
He's definitely one of the. He does have good genes. That if you were just gonna, maybe she is a lesbian. She's gonna go back to her partner and be like, "Did it, girl? I got that baby in the oven."
Oh!
That baby.
It might be conspiracy to end the show.
She's been on a losing streak. No, I'm just kidding. All right, that's it. Make sure you're liking and subscribing everywhere. And thanks for the likes and listens. Talk soon.
Thanks for listening to LaTB. For all things Lesbo and The Bean, head over to lesboandthebean.com or follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.